My name is Han and I work for the Faculty of Medicine at NTTU in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And I am doing the vlog today to respond to the questions regarding Student Centred Employability Framework. The first question is, what were you hoping to achieve with this framework? The framework is really a summary of what I expected. It contains all of our revised, condensed discussion and valuable questionnaire. I hope that not only our department but other departments in the university can also use this framework as a guide when applying it to the model Student Centred Employability. NTTU's philosophy is true learning, true practice, true pride, and true career. Therefore, it's very helpful for us in developing our model fits with the philosophy of the school. The framework will guide us with the correct direction on how we can assist our students not only on the academic level but also on the professional development as well. We can also use this framework to modify our vocational pedagogy and our curriculum to meet with the student-centered employability status as well. Step by step, we hope to make changes that is as needed for the best for our students. The second question is, how did the working with the framework help you to think about your assisting practice? Because our major is nursing, so reflective practice catches my attention the most. It makes me stop and think about our assisting practice. For example, what we could achieve at the beginning stage, how can we make changes easily, what can be changed more easier than the other, what is more difficult to implement, what kind of resources do we have already, what kind of supports do we hope to get from the school leaders, what kind of actions do we need to make with other colleagues, how can I influence staff members at my department and give them motivation that they can change. The third question is, how did working with the framework help you to think about what you might do differently in the future? Even us as staff member or faculty of the department, we still need to apply reflective practice. Really, it's not something different, it's not a different action, it's just developing a new habit, because thinking of what has happened has always been a part of human being. To start, we can keep our own diary or journal, just like the diary of clinical rotations with our students. Peer review is also significant. Developing a mentoring and coaching system is necessary, I think, at the moment. Meeting between three parties include the instructor at the school and in the hospital as well as the student might be mutual benefit, because their strength and weakness can be discussed at each rotation, so the student feel more confident as time goes and more career oriented for what they want to focus on. The teachers can gain confidence in helping the student succeed in what they need. Next question is, what advice would you give to others planning to use the framework? I would suggest that whoever is going to use this framework, they need to reflect on their practice first before they start reading into the framework. Understanding what student-centered employability is, the definitions of the terms that are going to use in the framework, and what really student-centered employability requires. Pausing and think about their existing practice help them generate new ideas, but they need to realize that it is a conscious effort. It requires time, it requires a lot of energy, because they need to develop insights into their past practice, into their past experience. Then they can use this as a guide to help them change or modify on what they already have in their practice in each area. The last two questions is, what suggestions do you have, if any, on what could be added to the framework to improve it? And might it also be possible to reflect on whether there were any unintended outcomes, either positive or negative, produced through interactions with the framework? There are things that can be added to the framework. At the moment, I can think of ways to evaluate the outcomes after using this framework or after they has implemented things in the framework. because I'm sure in different environments, different departments, with different population, they will have different existing resources as well, and therefore the outcomes will be also not the same. And yes, because different outcomes placed in different environments, it will be produce different results. So it will be helpful. Based on that, we can modify or making changes to the framework. Thank you everyone for listening.